Welcome to my 7 keys for blogging success. And the reason I'm doing this is because of an accountability group that I'm in. Shout out to my crew. One of them, Eduardo, is really starting to ramp up his blogging. And everyone asked if I could share a little bit of knowledge based on my experience, because over my journey of building Bacon Sports, I've generated over 1 million unique visitors and 2 million page views on the sports blog. So I wanted to share some knowledge on how I did that and some keys to success that you can use to help you on your blogging journey. So, number 1, it's not about you, it's about your audience. So for me, in everything that I do, there's 3 things that I like to do: inspire, educate, and entertain. When I started Bacon Sports, the goal was definitely to create entertaining sports comedy content. So when people would go there, boom, we were hammering that bad boy home. Entertainment was what we did. And then after that, we built a community around that. On a business side of things, certainly there's an opportunity to inspire and educate and entertain at the same time. But I would like to think that the biggest value that you can deliver is helping educate people based on the knowledge that you have. Because if you're able to say, hey, here's some things that I've learned on my journey that can help you along the way on yours, that is going to be a win-win situation. And that is how you're going to get more people to come back and read your blogs. So think to yourself, what is the value that you are delivering? If you're helping people, it's going to go a lot further. Number 2, consistency. So when I first started Bacon Sports, we were publishing anywhere from 3 to 7 articles per day, unique pieces of content. Every single day we were on this schedule. We were consistent. People knew they could expect that Bacon Sports was going to deliver content to them. So as you're starting your blogging journey, what I recommend is say to yourself, what is the minimum standard number of posts that I'm going to deliver per day or per week? And then stick to it. You have to be accountable. I knew when I started this, the worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario, was 1 post a day. That way, when someone came back to Bacon Sports, there was always something new and fresh that they could check out. So you got to be consistent. When you're consistent with your content, the number 3 thing is volume. The more volume that you create, the greater the chances you are having of reaching a larger number of people. Consistency gives you volume. Volume gives you more opportunities. And obviously, everybody's like, boom, volume in numbers is what I want. But you have to switch your mindset. It's about the volume of content that you create, which brings to number 4. Focus on the process, not the numbers. So early on in the content game, I remember this so vividly. All I wanted was to get 100 people to come to baconsports.com in one day. And we're just grinding, creating content, doing everything we could to try and get those numbers up. And then finally, after just months and months and months of seeing 10, 12, 37, 94, we finally got to 100. And then we get to 200. And then we get to 500. And then we got to 1,000 per day. But what you really need to realize is as we grew and matured, the numbers became irrelevant, because it's really about the process, because you can't necessarily control what the numbers are going to be. And especially at the beginning, that you don't want to do blogging because you say, I need 1 million people to come to my website. Gary Vaynerchuk has a statement that he said that really rang true with me is 1 is always greater than 0. So when you're getting 12 people coming to your blog or 36 people coming to your blog, that's cool, because you never know who those 36 people are going to be. Another way to reframe that is look in the room that's around you. And if there's 36 people, if there's 12 people, imagine those people coming from your website to sitting right there next to you. So many people fall into the trap of seeing what other influencers and major companies and people are doing, being like, oh man, they got like 1 million followers. That's irrelevant to your situation. In order to get from 0 to 1 million, you've got to start with 12 and 117 and 576. It's just, that's what has to happen. So instead, focus on your process, which goes back to consistency and volume. What is your process? What is your schedule? So what I would recommend is write down specifically how often and on what days you're going to be blogging. That way it's simple for you. And then based on that, you may want to work ahead. So if you say, hypothetically speaking, every Tuesday night, I am going to create a blog post and publish it. Cool. Well, you don't want to always have to figure out what you're going to write on Tuesday. Maybe on Saturday or Sunday, you start writing your blog post for the next day, or maybe you batch it where all of a sudden you spend hours upon hours just creating all of your blog posts at once. And then after the fact, you can go and schedule them. That way you have a consistent schedule so people can rely on it happening when you say it is going to happen. Which leads to the next thing. Number 5, distribution. What's up, Poe? What's up, David? I was just looking at my Evernote notes to try and get through this. If you've got a comment or question, let me know. Just dropping some knowledge right here. But number 5, distribution is so important when it comes to blogging. Reason being is awesome content. What nobody sees it. Is it still valuable? Of course it is. But the goal is for you to get more people to see it. So just creating the content and publishing it is only half the battle. And quite frankly, the distribution side of things is the less glamorous side of it. And it's the part that sucks the most. So there's really 5 ways that I think about distribution. Number 1, your own social media. So you're going to want to distribute your blog posts everywhere that you can. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, in your email signature, wherever you can. And then you're going to need to do this numerous times. So on social media, the average shelf life of a post may be 30 minutes on one platform, an hour over here. On Twitter, it's like half of a second. It's like, boom, gone. So you need to realize that when you're promoting your blog posts, you're going to want to create several unique headlines for each one. So my recommendation would be, with any one blog post, create 3 unique headlines that talk about a problem or a thing of value that you can deliver to them so that people can start. What's up, Michael? Shout out to you. So that people can start understanding what it is that you're looking to deliver for them from a blogging standpoint. Number 2, you can use paid advertising. Facebook and Instagram are great opportunities for this. I would probably recommend Facebook to begin with because it's more native from a content standpoint, from a blog posts. I'm typically not clicking on links in Instagram and reading big things on blogs. Instead, on Facebook, yeah, I'm a little bit more native to that. So you can put some paid dollars. So this can be as little as, hey, throw $5 or $10 on your article and make sure you target it to a specific demographic that is going to be the one that you want to reach. Number 3, send it to other publications. Early on in Bacon Sports, one of the big victories that we had is I would send content that we created to Sports Illustrated's Hot Clicks. Shout out to Jimmy Trania as well as Andy Gray. Both of them helped publish stuff for Bacon Sports on there. And I remember those days when I was just trying to get 100 people. Then all of a sudden one day we posted something and we got 40,000 people in one day. So all this work, I could work for months creating all of these articles. And then all of a sudden, getting the right person who has the right audience to publish it can get you 40,000 people to your website just like that. So think about other publications and distribution partners that you can use that can help spread your word. Number 4, word of mouth. One thing that I've been great at with Bacon Sports is this guy can talk. So let people know if you're blogging, boom, hey, what's up? Check out my latest blog. I'm talking about X, Y, and Z. You've got to make sure as many different touch points as you can create possible for people to find your blog and go to it. And then number 5, guerrilla marketing. So for me, that was a big part of the brand I built at Bacon Sports. Even right here, at all times, look at this. So at all times with me, I have stickers, which I litter all around Chicago on bathrooms, on poles, everything. And I've also got a stack of 20 cards right in here. And why do I do this? Because every interaction is an opportunity to create a positive brand interaction. So what happens if you're talking to someone who's like your ideal target demographic for your blog? And you're like, oh man, you should check out my blog. You're like, cool, man, I'll do that. How many people are actually going to remember that? Like nobody. And even with a name like Bacon Sports, it's still an uphill battle because people have just so many things fighting for their attention that they're not going to remember it. So that's why on my end, I'm always trying to leave them with something. One, I've used koozies to great success. I'm always giving people koozies. I always have 2 koozies with me at all times. One for me and one to give out to someone. So I've got that. I've got business cards. I'm always hitting up people like, hey, man, check this out. I think you'll dig it. It's very much in a value-driven way because if you believe in the content that you are creating, then there is a good opportunity for you to build this connection because it's not just, hey, man, come to my stuff. It's like, listen, I think you're legitimately going to dig this and you're going to like it. So that's what my mindset very much is about distribution. And quite frankly, it is all of those things. Change your email signature and go, hey, check out my latest blog post on here. Make sure that you update people on LinkedIn, create videos. I mean, take your one piece of content and then say, how many different other places can I go? Certainly, that's why I podcast. That's why I video. That's why I live stream. How many different places can people find you? The next thing that was just so important and big for the growth of Bacon Sports as a sports blog was SEO. And we use WordPress as our back end. And I didn't know how to do any of this stuff when I started 6 years ago, so I had to learn it all. And I got really good at SEO. And right now, I believe 90% of our traffic that we get on Bacon Sports comes from Google, and that's a crap ton. So I believe on average we get, let's call it between 15 and 25,000 page views per month, just organically coming to Bacon Sports without doing anything. So back to consistency, volume, process. So we had the consistency of the content. So we created a lot of volume and we used the same process. What was part of that process was the SEO that we did. So the important things are you've got the keyword in every post. And here's a little tip for you. If you use WordPress, one app or a plugin that you want to download is Yoast, Y-O-A-S-T. It is pretty much a gold standard for SEO. So you've got your keyword there. So hypothetically speaking, if it is an article about top jerseys at Lollapalooza, I may put Lollapalooza jerseys as my keyword. From there, you want to make sure that that keyword appears as many times and in as many places that are important as possible. So here's sort of how Google thinks about these things. Number one, it looks at the title of the blog post. So does Lollapalooza jerseys appear in the blog post title? And the earlier on in the title, the better. So it could be best Lollapalooza jerseys from 2018. Boom. So Google's going to go check mark. We got that in there. The next thing is the URL slug. So it'd be baconsports.com/Lollapalooza jerseys 2018. So Google goes, boom, check mark. Lollapalooza jerseys is also in there. Then the next thing that Google looks for is your opening paragraph, and more specifically, the very beginning. So how quickly can you get the words Lollapalooza jerseys in the very beginning of your post? Because Google's just this machine that's looking for little check boxes. So it goes title check, slug URL check. Oh, it's in the 9th word of the blog post, check. Then it says, all right, how many times does this appear in the blog post? So you don't want to stuff the keyword. You want to be very natural and organic about this. But how many different times or ways can you get Lollapalooza jerseys to appear in the article there? Because then when someone's searching for Lollapalooza jerseys, Google is going to say, hey, here's an article which says Lollapalooza jerseys. 9 times in it, and the slug is good and the title is good. The next thing you're going to want to look at is your meta description. So when you do a Google search, Lollapalooza jerseys, it'll go Bacon Sports. Like, hey, here's an article about the top jerseys or the best jerseys we captured at Lollapalooza 2018. And that little description at the bottom there is the meta description. And if it also says Lollapalooza jerseys in there, boom, another check mark. And then the next thing is the image. So on every blog post, we have a featured image so that when someone goes there, boom, there's something nice there. And what do you name that image? So I'm always thinking ahead of time, what is the keyword that I'm going to use when I'm creating my image? So my image is likely going to be best Lollapalooza jerseys 2018. Boom, Lollapalooza jerseys is in there. Then there's an alternate captions, I don't know, feature or section in there that you can put it. So it'll say the alt text. Boom, once again, put Lollapalooza jerseys. Now you've created like 6 different places where it says Lollapalooza jerseys so that when Google is crawling what you're doing, it goes boom, keyword, 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 keyword. Awesome. That was a good article. We're going to rank it higher in Google. So now, assuming that every single article you do, you create the same process. And that's why I say focus on the process, not the numbers, or focus on the process, not the prize, because every time you create a blog post, you are not done when you're done writing. That's just the beginning of it. Now you've got to go through and SEO this stuff. And this is a very easy thing for people to get lazy and be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not a SEO type guy. Sorry, this is the way that it is. If you want to be successful at blogging, these are the different things that I've used to be successful and get 2 million people to our website. So do this for every single blog post that you do. That way, as you keep building your content warehouse, article after article after article after article, you're building link juice. You're getting more people to come there, and all of a sudden, you're going to start showing up in search results a lot more. And the last thing, but certainly not least, and this is the reason why I created Bacon Sports in the first place, you have to enjoy it. Don't do blogging because you think it's just a tactic that you should do. You're not going to enjoy it. It's going to be a grinding process, and you're going to give up on it. I know that blogging can work because I've seen a ton of success for it. But my mindset going into this was, I love doing this because I quit my digital ad sales job to live my dreams of working in sports and being creative. So every day when I woke up, I was like, shit, I cannot wait to start creating some blog posts. And you need to have the same mindset, because think about this in terms of your own success. Do you get excited when you think about your dreams and aspirations and where you want to go and that success and what that journey looks like? Yeah, I do too. So to help get you all juiced up, be very confident and excited about the blog posts, because once again, it's actually not about you. It's about the value that you're going to be able to deliver for others. And a great thing happens when someone reads one of your blog posts, and it will happen if you continue to do this consistently. Someone will hit you up with a comment being like, Rob, I absolutely love that. It had a huge impact in my life. You'll be like, oh shit, people are reading this, like this actually matters. And this is when you learn that the numbers don't matter, because all you need is one person to say to you, man, that really helped me out a ton. Thank you very much. Because you're not doing it for an artificial number. Like no one's ever going to have on their tombstone that says, Rob had 2 million page views to Bacon Sports. That's crap. But instead, if it's like Rob impacted 1 million people, now we're talking. And that's really what you're looking for, is when you can enjoy it, it's going to come across in your writing. And this is something that you're going to need to find your creative flow on. And don't give up early on this. Like anything, it's a process. You're going to have to say, here's what I want you to do. I want you to commit to saying, I'm going to do X amount of blog posts when you start. If it's, hey, I'm going to start with 5. Cool. Do 5 and see the difference between number 1 and number 5. You will improve. And as you improve and as you start to get feedback and as you start to get your creative flow better, this will become a lot more enjoyable for you. Then you'll be saying, oh my God, I see 1 million different things that I can think about for blog posts. And I will give you one bonus tip that I just thought of right now, and that is, how do you create ideas for blog posts? So one pitfall that a lot of people run into is, man, I just don't know what I'm going to write about today. And writer's block, like, what do you do? So I took improv and comedy writing at Second City for 4 years. And in the comedy writing, they talked about writer's block. And really, writer's block is just your reluctance to write something crappy on paper. So can each of us write? Of course we can write. You can literally just start listing off your favorite athletes ever, or your favorite TV shows, or what did you have for dinner, or tell me about the weather, or what you did today. Literally anything. So when you run into instances where you think you've got writer's block, you're like, all right, the words just aren't coming on the paper. I want to write about whatever, my morning routine, but it's just not flowing right now. So you say, all right, I'm just going to start writing some shit down. So you just start going. You're like, all right, well, this morning I went to the gym and I ate an English muffin and some eggs, blah, blah, blah. And you just start writing. And what that does is it gets your flow going, your brain's going. You're no longer thinking about, man, I can't get these words down on the paper. It's irrelevant what you're writing down. What matters is that you are writing. And sooner or later, eventually you're going to be like, oh, man, I'm back in my flow. And then you're like, all right, now I'm going to start writing about my morning routine. You're like, man, I'm excited to get up in the morning, blah, 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 blah. Boom, there you go. The next part of this is create a document of your ideas. So a content idea warehouse where you're going to store all your different blog post ideas. That way you don't have to wake up every time you have a blog post due and be like, what am I going to write about? Instead, plan ahead. So I would recommend take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, take an hour. This should actually be a fun, exciting process, and say, all right, what's the value that I want to deliver with my blog? And what are some topics that I can talk about that I feel very confident about writing? Boom, write them out. Shit, start with 10 ideas. One thing they taught me at Second City, for every 10 ideas you have, only one of them are going to be good. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the case for blog post ideas, but as an overarching thing, you need volume when it comes to ideas and content. So sit there and just start brainstorming things. And then after that, you say, all right, well, what are the ones that I'm most excited about? And maybe your very first one isn't going to be the one you're most excited about because you're like, you know what? At number 5, I want to do that one once I'm in my flow a little bit more. And write that down. And then when you start planning your blog post for the next week, you can say, all right, well, what's on deck for the next week? Oh, I can write about this one. Cool. Boom, you're no longer worried about what I'm going to write about because you've already thought about that, which once again goes back to the process. I'm going to hammer this over and over and over again. It's the process of blogging is what you have to get down, because once you get in the process, then this becomes second nature for you. So I want to give a shout out to my 100-day accountability group once again for holding me accountable for doing this. They said, we want you to do this week, and it was on my to-do list, and I've been busy as crap, but I knew I had a choice. I could either be doing something else right now, or I could be doing this, and I knew the value that I was going to be able to give these guys was going to be so much bigger because I know the positive benefits that can happen. So shout out to you guys. Thank you for holding me accountable. Hope everybody has yourselves a fantastic weekend. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be checking this bad boy every now and then. Otherwise, hit me up, rob@baconsports.com. Would love to help you any way that I can. Boom shakalaka.